So when I'm coming to a site like this, when I'm coming to a site, you know, this is random wilderness camping. This is not an established campsite. There's no tent pads, although I've been here before. I need to find a place to put my tent, and so several considerations are important. The first one is I try and of course find a spot that's flat. This isn't flat, although it looks flat. This looks flat, and my tent is small, so I can put it here. The front here is relatively flat. This is flat once I remove this branch. So I think this is where I'm going to put it. And once I found my spot, I'm thinking about what's underneath. Is it rocks or grass? I'm thinking about where the water is going to flow if it rains. Is it in a low spot where it might puddle and pool underneath me? I'm also thinking about where the sun's coming up, because I like to have my tent get hit by the sun first thing in the morning. So, you know, a lot of considerations. So when I look at this spot, I'm going to plant the camera and videotape here, but I'm gonna clear it a little bit because this looks good, and it's not too far from the fire, but far enough that sparks and embers won't hit the tent and perhaps damage it. So now, and generally speaking, I'd prefer to be in an area that has water close by. The water is over there by the creek, you know, a couple 100 yards, which is fine, and there's lots of firewood and places to hang food, but I don't have a great field of vision if an animal were to come. But this is a good compromise, so I think I'll put it right here. If it's not perfectly flat, it's fine, as long as you know, a slight slope, no more than 5 degrees kind of thing, and I'll put my head up high. But pretty sure this looks darn good. Put on a fleece because I get eaten alive by the bugs. Here's a little trick I do. Take the main part of your tent and I throw it on the ground. You can actually do this after you've set it up, but somehow or other visually it gives you a better idea of how flat the ground is once you put this down. So my head goes here, but today I'm going to have to put my head on the other end, and then I lay down on it. This is going to be just fine. So there's this loop is for the stake, and this one is for the fly. So this one will go in like that, and I'll tighten it on the other side. I like how everything's color coordinated. Red is the front, silver is the silver end of this pole. There's a special bend in it, so the two ones are silver, goes in the silver tabs, and even these are color coded, so green goes on green, silver goes on silver. The fly is also color coded, so when you find these corners with the red, that's the front of the tent. Now the quick setup is to loosen these. I should have loosened them before when I took it off, and you just put them in like that. So you do all 4 corners quickly. Now Inside here is a Velcro tab that can be attached there. I don't bother. I just do this. Once that flies on, then you just tighten it evenly on all four corners and pull it down. And then I extend the guy lines, starting with the side opposite from the one that I stick. Like anything else, you start loose and you go around and then you tighten everything. So one in.
So here's a full outside view of the tent as set up.
So the only big change I made to the tent is that the guy lines, they provided guy lines. These are the guy lines they provided, but I bought these little cleats, which are very handy for tightening the tension on the guy line. So that's the only modification I made to the tent.
I need to mention one disadvantage of this tent, and is the fact that it's not entirely freestanding. So you can set it up with the 4 stakes on the corners and it will stand up, but not to a lot of wind because it does have a high profile. So you do need to put out the guy lines to get some good structural integrity. But that's pretty minor. I mean, the tent goes up quickly. Definitely an advantage is its small footprint. I have put this tent in some really tight spaces. Here's one little piece of damage. So I had an ember land there and melt through. I noticed that about 2 weeks ago and I haven't done anything about it. I'll just put a little piece of tape on the inside over that. So that's pretty minor. And the other little bit of damage, my fault again, is if you look right there, there's a hole in the screen. So that's it for damage. Otherwise, the tent has held up incredibly well. This is the morning. We woke up and the inside of the fly is dry. There's no condensation anywhere. The bottom of the tent is dry. This waterproof tub of is remarkably waterproof. I've never woken up wet in the tent. And one of the advantages that I will definitely talk about is the fact that Tungsten chooses to still use polyester that's coated for their fly, and the seams are taped. But the advantage of a polyester fly as opposed to the nylon silicone flies is that it doesn't hold water, and so it dries extremely quickly. So that's a huge advantage. I found with friends when we're hiking who have the nylon tents that when they pack them wet in the morning, they're a lot heavier than when I pack this one wet. Now, one of the things I love as a feature of this tent is definitely the vent. You know, if you you can close this if you choose, but I never ever close it. I always leave it open. It is a one-person tent, and this end of the tent is wider than at that end, but you can see last night my head was at that end because of the slope of the tent. So there's a small advantage here. It's a little bit wider, and I generally put my head here, but I can tell you that I've slept many times with my head in the other direction and it's fine. So it's narrow. You can see I have a 30-inch wide thermarest, and it fits in here, and there's a little bit of room on the side, and usually I pile up all my stuff. The only thing that I would, the only criticism I have of the tent is this little pouch. There's only one small pouch in the tent, which is, you know, just enough for my glasses at night, or a GPS, or my flashlight, or something like that. So there's not a lot of pouches, but that's not a big drawback. What I really like about the tent is here, where you can put a headlamp or a flashlight or whatever you want, and you get a little diffuse light through this white triangle. So that's a nice feature. Actually, here's another modification I did to the tent. It's not a modification. The tent comes with tie points, and I just put a line through the tent, and I can hang a pair of socks or something like that, and it's remarkable how much something will dry just from from your body heat. One small vestibule, and that's where I put my bag, my backpack at the end of the night, and boots and things like that. So I've been asked by people how I like this tent, and my answer is I love this tent. I mean, this tent in its category, it's a one-man tent. It's slightly over 2 pounds. It's a very, very easy setup, very easy takedown. It packs tightly, and it provides everything I want as a tent. And like I said, I've hiked in it I've actually used it in winter and in summer. Just this year I have 35 nights in it. I probably have 50 nights in this tent. And at the price point of this tent, you know, this is a sub $200 US tent. They routinely go on sale at some of the stores around here in Canada, and I've gotten this one for something like $189 when I got it. So it's just a fantastic tent. So if you're looking for what I would call a budget tent, one person, this is a tent you should consider. This tent is so easy to fold up because it's square and nothing complicated. Fold it in half. Some people stuff their tents. I often stuff it when it's wet, and I know, because I'm just going to take it out on the trail to dry, but right now we're on our way home, so everything's going to get taken out when I get home anyways, and properly dried and properly folded, but just want to show you. Then I'm rushing right now. I mean, I could do a slightly better job, but you get the point. And they give you a big enough bag that you don't struggle with it. There, stuff done. That big white bear is right here. Let me show him to you. See him? Hey, bear! Go away! Hey, bear! Go away! Bad bear, go away! Go away! Shit. Time for a fire real quick. Alright. I'm a bit nervous right now. I'm shaking. Look in my hand. Take the safety off the spray. Hey, bear! Well, he's not cinnamon, he's white. I don't need this aggravation right now. That's why I didn't like this spot in particular. Like I said, I got too many blind spots. Ah! Hey, bear! Go away! He's right there. You see him? Ah! Ah!
shit, am I standing in his food or something? Has he got something here that he wants?
He's pretty, but I'm shaking. I'm not happy right now. There he is. He's curious and he's not moving.
He just ran. I don't know if he finally decided, but he's gonna come back. Oh shit, right there. Frick, he's close. I don't know if he moved on or not. I kind of have no choice. I'm gonna have to go investigate and check out over there. You know, and I mean, I said I've been here before. There's been bears before. This is prime grizzly bear habitat. We're in the just below the alpine. There's avalanche slopes everywhere. They're looking for carrion dead animals that got, you know, swept in avalanches and things like that. So he's being opportunistic right now. Humans come here frequently, so he might not be entirely scared of humans. He's not that big. And I said it before, I so rarely have incidents with bears in camp. You know, it's you meet him on the trail when you surprise him. But what worries me about that one is I screamed and he's not reacting. Not, you know, I should have heard him bolting. He's not gone far. Because if he went crashing after I scared him, you'd hear the thump, 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 but you didn't. So he's just back there. I'll just make the fire big for a while and hang around, and then I'll go look. He's over there now. So he started over there. He walked all the way around, and now I can barely see him, but he's over there. He's heading towards the trailhead, the main trail in the creek. Guess who doesn't feel like cooking a smoky right now? It's 8:08. He's doing his tour and then he's going to go and lay down somewhere. I mean, they're semi-nocturnal. They don't, he'll go sleep, conserve his energy. Yeah, I found this rope on the ground and I was preoccupied sort of just trying to undo these knots, and then all of a sudden I looked over there and there was a bear and I didn't have a fire going. So now I'm going to keep a bunch of little kindling just in case, so the little kindling I can throw on the fire quickly and spark it. Kind of lets me know that he's not interested in here and he's going around. He was interested in a beaver dam maybe, but now I'm wearing high visibility. I decided to go yellow. You know, one of the things is you make yourself big and visible. I was wearing camouflage green basically, so that's not very smart of me. So now I'm wearing my high visibility yellow rain jacket, and I will walk a bit that way. This is where he was standing. He came from there and then he walked through here. He couldn't see me very well, obviously, so